Shalom Aleichem. Today on our journey through Shas Mishnayot to Mishnah Yomi starts Kidushin chapter 4. This is the final chapter of Kidushin and therefore the final chapter of Seder Nashim. In just over a week we'll be beginning the Bavas, Bavakama, the beginning of Seder Nizikin, all about damages and restitutions and financial obligations. So an exciting change of pace is on the horizon. But right now we're starting chapter 4 of Kidushin, Asara, Yuchsin, Alu, Mibavel. 10 types of genealogies, 10 types of families came up from Bavel to return to Eretz Yisrael in the days of Ezra. And the Bartenura mentions these different types came up from Bavel, meaning when Ezra left Bavel, he left it with just Kohanim, Leviim, Yisrael, and he took all of the other types with him. And Ezra's concern was all the Nevi'im and the great sages were going back to Eretz Yisrael, back to Yerushalayim, to try to rebuild the temple. Baruch Hashem, eventually they were successful. So there weren't really as many courts and sages and people keeping track in Bavel anymore, so he had to take anyone potentially problematic with him to Eretz Yisrael and keep an eye on them. It's an interesting understanding of what's going on here. So Sar Yochsin Alim Bavel, who are they? Kohane, the Kohanim, Leviai, the Leviim Yisraeli, and the Yisraelim Halole. These are Kohanim who have lost the privileges of Kahuna, even though they are the sons of Kohanim. Geirei, these are converts to Judaism. Harure, these are Avadim and Shvachot who have been freed. Now remember, when they are an Eved Kanani, Shvach Kanani, they are quasi-Jewish. They have to observe the mitzvot lo ta'aseh, and once they are freed, they are normal Jewish men and women observing all of the mitzvot. And Mamzere, the illegitimate offspring, Netine, the Netinim or Givonim, again, were these tribes that misled Moshe and Yehoshua about their origins, and they were accepted in the Jewish people, but it turns out they weren't really doing it with a full heart, as we saw later in the days of David Melech. Shtuki means shtok, means be quiet, meaning they don't know who the father is. So whenever he says Abba, he points at someone and says, "Are you my father?" The mother says, shtok, shtika, to try to quiet him because they don't know who the father is. A Sufi is someone who's gathered up from the shuk. They don't know the father or the mother. In the Gemara, they have very, very heartbreaking descriptions of how some of the non-Jewish people would literally abandon their infants to be eaten and consumed by wild animals, whereas the Jewish people would try to take care of them, try to put them somewhere safe, even if they couldn't literally keep them in their house because of the deprivations of poverty and gullus and terrible things happening. But they tried to get these infants to go to the right home, whereas the Romans would abandon their children to literally be devoured by wolves. That was a thing, and it's actually been verified in Roman letters. One of the Roman philosophers wrote a letter to his wife saying, if we have a son, take good care of it, and if we have a daughter, abandon it outside to be eaten by the wolves or the dogs or whatever. That was one of the famous Roman philosophers. So you understand the difference between the Jews and the Romans. So really, really scary. Baruch Hashem, we have the ability to feed all of our children, take care of all our children, God willing. No one has to abandon anybody. And it really shows you that the Jewish people were always known to have rahmanas, to have compassion, and to try to adopt and take care of people, even who they weren't their own offspring. Those were the Asufim. Anyway, now the Mishnah explains, Kahane levoi v'Yisraelei mutarin levo ze bazei. So the Kohanim, Leviim, and regular Yisraelim, they can all marry one another. And as we explained yesterday, of course, the son of Mr. Cohen will be a Cohen like his father, etc. Levaya Yisraeli v'Chalole geri harei metarim levo zeh v'zeh. Also, Leviim and Yisraelim, but not Kohanim, can marry with Chalolim and Gerim and Harurim, people who have been freed. They can also intermarry one with another. And Gere, converts, v'Harure, former servants, Mamzere, illegitimate offspring, Netine, the Netinim Givonim, Shtuke, those we have a doubt about the father, Vesufe, we have a doubt about either parents, don't know if they're even Jewish, Kulam Mutarim Levo Zeh V'zeh, they can all intermarry. The Mishnah Bet gives us some explanation to the last categories. Elu hem shtuke. These are the ones we call shtukim from Lashon shtok, be quiet. Kol shehu makir et imo. We know his mother. He knows who his mother is. Eino makir et aviv. He doesn't know who the father is. So again, when he calls someone Abba, the mother says shtok. Please be quiet. We don't know if that's your father. Asufe, one who's gathered. Kol shenesof min hashuk. That a Jewish family has adopted this child from the marketplace. The Eino Makir, and we don't know, lo aviv lo imo, we don't know the father or the mother. Abashol hayakor, the shtuki beduki. Abashol says that first category, the shtuki, we could call it beduki, one that can be checked, because technically we could ask the mother, and technically she should know who she was with and be able to tell us. Now, this actually reminds us of the halacha we learned back in Ketuvot, in the second chapter, where a woman shows up pregnant and we say, okay, who's the father? Where there was a machloket, where Rabban Gamliel says, yes, we believe her, to say who the father was, that it was a Cohen or someone who's, fit to marry a Cohen, and the Rabbi Yeshua said, no, we don't believe her. So this statement of Abba Shaul fits with the opinion of Rabban Gamliel way back in Ketuvot. It's a good chazara there. Shar kochachem, tizku l'mitzvot.